Hey guys, finally after 2 days of testing we can finally have a talk about, sorry for this guy, we can finally have a talk about Eagle Eye and oh my god, it's such a messy new class change, and we're gonna talk about the skill, we're gonna talk about the talent, the stat, what to do to compensate for the stat, because right now I think it's a little bit of a problem for free to play and low spender. And so as usual, like the video and subscribe if you didn't already, and let's get into it. So the biggest problem with this class is that the class change and the Eagle Eye is that there are so many information online from other YouTuber on Discord, on different Discord, like the official one, the one from like Famous Guild, and I was reading all of this stuff, and a lot of stuff are different, like they conflict with each other. So I had to try for like 2 days. I prefer to copy just like other people and tell you, like I make a quick guide about what to use without even explaining too much. But this time I had to try a lot, unfortunately for me, because I'm very lazy. And let's start with the preset and the skill. So right now I have three of them. This one is for single target, this one is for multi-targets, like AoE, so main story and Waves of Horror. And then I have one for the dragon, but I'm not gonna use it for now, and I'm gonna tell you why. So for the skill, it's gonna be very easy. You can just see here what I use, and it's always the same except one. For this one is quite easy, like multi-target, everybody kinda agree on the same build. So it's gonna be tactical precedence, which you don't use for single target, and it's gonna be instead of energized arrow. Now for single target, things change a little bit. I saw a lot of people that instead of energized arrow, they advise to use exploding icicles. I tried both of the skill in dragon and also rift, and when I say rift, I mean the Arena of the Nine Kings, which is the last one that we unlocked for now. And energized arrow works much better for me. As usual, I advise you to try and see for yourself what's better. But for me, I have both of them legendary, and Energized Arrow is a little bit better. It's not much better, but you can definitely see the difference, and it works. It works better. Then let's see for the dragon. The difference for the dragon is the talent. Now the talent is gonna be the biggest thing when you change the class. For me, when I got class change 2, I was doing no damage, and I was so mad because I was doing quite a decent damage with the class change 1, and then it was like super terrible. I was afraid to do any rift because I knew people they were gonna laugh at my DPS. It was terrible. So the talent is the biggest thing. So let's check what we have. So again, we start with the DPS for like with the talent for AoE damage for multi-target because it's the easiest one. Again, almost everybody agree that the best way to do it is focus shooting. You go all right here. Basically, the path for focus shooting is that on the right you have all the AoE damage and the burst damage, and on the left you have single target damage. Now, that doesn't mean, unfortunately, that for single target you're gonna go all left, and I'm gonna tell you why soon. But at least for AoE damage, you can go all right, and it's very easy. It's the AoE, the burst damage of this class is quite good. You can see maybe from here, I don't know which point we are. Okay, this is a terrible moment. Okay, here. As you can see, sometimes it goes up to 80 million per second, and the boss dies very, very easy, very, very fast. Okay, as you can see now, it's quite a good burst damage. But the thing is, a lot of people, when they see that number, they think, okay, so this is probably the best talent for the class because it's a lot of damage, and it also works in like for a mode like Rift or the Dragon. So don't think it's only for the main story or the waves. The problem is that yes, it works also for the Dragon or for Rift, but then the damage is gonna go down very, very fast, and it's not gonna go up anymore. So it's only, as we said before, it's only burst damage. For single target, what you want to do is this. Now, you start with the left one, and then for the second talent, you go for the right one. Now, the reason is that even if Ice Blessing technically is better for single target, you most likely don't have enough haste right now. And the haste that you should have is around 40-45%. I have like, what, 25? So obviously it's not enough, and for this reason, you want to pick Haste Blessing. Now, when you reach 40-45% haste, you can try to change and go for Ice Blessing and see if the damage improve. It should improve, it should be better, but until then, until you have 40-45% haste, I would advise to go for the right branch here and go for Haste Blessing. Then for the rest, we keep going on the left, so 1 time left, 2 time left, and then at the end, I tried both right and left. Now, the thing is, on paper, when you do like Rift, you think the right path here is better because this one has a lot of burst damage. So you start the run and you have a lot of damage, and everybody thinks you're super strong, you have very high DPS. Now, this is true at first, but in the long run, I notice that this path is better. So for example, it's what I have here on page 3. as you can see, left, this one is right, and everything else is left. Now, this one, when you start the run, you start Rift or Dragon, a lot of people are going to have better DPS than you. They're going to do much more damage than you because they have burst damage. They have much more burst damage compared to you. But in the long run, they are going to start to lose damage while you keep gaining damage. So at the end of the run, you're going to be the one with most DPS, most likely, unless you have Whale in your team, obviously. So this is going to work very, very well. If you saw my video about Arena of Nine Kings, I was doing, I think, around 15, 16 million damage a second around the end of the run. And I was using the right path here. With the left path here, at the end of the run, I have about 20 million damage per second. So it's a quite noticeable difference. And overall, the damage is much more stable, and they keep increasing during the run instead of decreasing. So even if at first people could think that you don't have enough DPS, you actually do. And it's actually very good. At the end of the run, you're going to have more damage, like more total damage compared to if you were using the right path. So my advice, this is why I had 3 preset. But actually, I'm just gonna put this one, page 3, that's the one I just showed you, and I'm gonna use it for pretty much everything except Wings of Horror and main story. And that's the reason why, that's the reason I just explained to you. Then for the second part, you have to focus on 2 things. This is gonna be the same for both single target and AoE damage, which was actually the one I was showing you before. You're gonna use Vigor Circle and Lightning Reflex. Now, you don't have, like right here, it depends on your build. You don't have to copy if you have a different build compared to mine. And with this, I mean that for me, I am currently using, where is it? The set with critical rate. So if you have this set, you can copy what I'm doing. If you don't use this set, you cannot copy this, because the reason why I use lightning reflex, which is here, it's because I need more determination. I increase my critical rate with a set, and I increase my determination with this talent. If, for example, you don't have that set, but you have a set with determination, obviously you don't need to increase even more your determination with lightning reflex. You need to use a talent that is going to increase your critical rate. I hope this makes sense. It's quite easy, but listen again, like go back in the video, listen again if you didn't get it. It's very important, because you want to keep a balance between determination and critical rate. You don't want to have one super high and one super low. And for this one, you invest 60 points. Is the same for both AoE and single target damage, as I mentioned before. So you just go down until you reach this one, which increases for another 2% your determination, and then you can skip this stuff for now. And then for the other talent, you want to go Vigor Circle. Now, a lot of people tell you to go 60 points here and then invest into Lightning Reflex. For me, because I didn't have enough determination, as I mentioned before, I decided to invest first 60 points here, and then the rest of the point here, and I'm slowly gonna increase it while I level up, and the damage is gonna improve, obviously. Now, if you have already enough determination, which is probably only if you spend a good amount of money, then you can focus on Vigor Circle, and you can, you spend only the rest of the point into Lightning Reflex. But if you're free to play, or if you're a low spender like me, most likely you will not have enough determination. So I would advise to spend 60 here and then the rest slowly build up Vigor Circle, because it's less important. Even if technically it improves your damage, you still need determination. Like it's super important stat, and we're going to talk about that later. So this is for, again, both single target and multi-target. It's the same stuff. And now we also gonna talk about the stat, which is the thing that made me want to cry. So, as usual, start with accuracy. Accuracy should be between 100% and 103%. If you have less than that, you might actually miss some shot, and obviously it's gonna be damage that you lose. Then we're gonna have critical rate and determination. You want to put these two at least at 35%. To do it, you're gonna have you can use the set that I mentioned before, the accessory set that you unlock, like it's the last one that we have, and it's gonna boost your critical rate by 12%. And then for determination, you can boost it with Lightning Reflex. If you're still using the set that improved by 12% your determination, you can do the opposite and just use a talent that increases your critical rate. So it's very easy. Then we go to haste. This is the biggest problem for me right now, because they advise you to have around 35-40% or even 45% haste, which if you're free to play or low spender, it's pretty much impossible in my opinion right now. You just don't have enough resource to upgrade your, to improve your haste so much. Could be wrong, but I don't think it's possible right now unless you're a whale. And I don't say that to disrespect like a whale or anything. Obviously I'm not a free to play player, so I also spend money, but it's just, even if you spend a little bit, it's not possible to go up to 40% right now. And then when you have all your main stat at the right place, you can actually start to invest into mastery, but even better if you start to invest into crit damage. Now, crit damage is much better than mastery in my opinion, and this is what I want to work on next. The problem is that for crit damage, you actually need the moves on your pet. And guess what? I'm actually saving all my moves for the next week when we get the new paper plane with the good artifact. So this is why right now my power level is actually quite low. As you can see, I'm trying to save everything. Like this new class change was in a very, like, it had a very bad timing, because I'm saving everything for the wishlist event and the new paper plane event with the artifact. So I couldn't really invest too much into, like, my resource into improving my character and doing more damage. But again, it is what it is. And let's talk about a little bit more about the stat, because this is going to be the main problem, I think, for most player. So one thing that you can do when you do the class change is to actually change your helmet and your gauntlet if you didn't already. So for me, I was still using the Mask of Power and the Gauntlet of Power. At this point, I think it's just better to change and go for the Icicle one. And the main reason is that the stat that you get from here are just too low. Like, for example, look at this. 5 haste is 101.9. This one is level 4 haste is 169.6. So obviously, even if this is level 4, so it's lower than level 5, the bonus is that much higher. And so you need every boost you can get for to reach the stat that are required for the class to work as better as possible. So in my opinion, one thing you can do is actually go for the icicle, like full icicle set, so 6 pieces out of 6. And this is going to improve, obviously, your stat. And then also remember to recast your equipment when they reach tier 14. I actually didn't do it because I got up to tier 14, I think, this morning. But yeah, when you reach this point, your recast gear have 15 stat improved, which is obviously very nice. And then you can reroll and get what you need, and it's going to have higher bonus. And then for the usual stuff, of course, you should improve your Melomon as much as possible. I would advise to start up your main one and focus only a little bit on the support. For example, this one, if I want to start them up, they ask for the purple shining crystal. I have them, but I didn't do it because I'm waiting. I'm saving up my purple shining crystal for Demon Hound. I want to improve Demon Hound as much as possible, at least until 5 gold star. And as you can see, I'm getting quite close, and the wishlist event is gonna help a lot on that side. And then obviously you will have to improve as much as possible your artifact situation and your mount. I'm not going to talk too much about the cat because the cat is it's a little bit a mess right now. We don't have enough resources to do it properly, in my opinion, again, unless you spend a lot of money. So for this, when I upgrade my artifact, I always try to get like to follow the artifact bond. So I try to get everything to +3 and then everything to +6, just for the bonus. Now, if you have to invest into something, I would say try to invest into stuff that gives you a good, like a useful bonus in your passive effect. So, for example, this one give me haste, so I made it +8. And again, if something gives you determination or critical rate, I would say it's better to focus on those stuff, on those artifacts, because it's all stuff that you need instead of something like tenacity. Like, you don't care about tenacity as much as you care for haste or crit rate or determination, etc. So something else that we can do is, again, I changed the my set and I'm using the new one, not only for the critical rate, but also because being a new one is going to also have better bonus in the stat, like in the randomized stat that you get here. I'm not recasting too much because I don't really have much resource right now, and I'm saving them up for the next set that we're going to unlock with the next rift. But you know, the game is all about managing your resource properly, so it is what it is. As you can see, I can also refine my equip, but for example, I'm not refining this one because I want to keep these 3 bonus, even if they're not very good. Right now I'm trying to save up as much as possible. So do what you can with your stat. Don't get too discouraged if your DPS is not as high as you expected when you change the class, because it was the same for me. Again, the most important thing in my opinion is the talent. I tried all these different talent, and the combination that worked the best for me is the one that I told you that I have on page 3. So it's all left except for haste, which is on the right side. Then I focused all the 60 points on lightning reflex, and then I spend the rest on vigor circle. Of course, the moment when you reach more haste, you can change, as I mentioned before, and go here. Your damage is going to improve for sure, also because by the time you will have even more point on vigor circle. Don't get too discouraged if you don't have enough stats right now, because again, as we progress with the game, we unlock new set, better, which is going to also have better stat. And also we're going to make those set like tier 14, etc. And we're going to get improved stat from the recast. So it's just going to take some time. And I know it's annoying because you get judged a lot as a DPS by the damage that you have, especially because this class starts with a low burst, especially if you use the talent that I told you about. But on the long run, I think it's going to be worth it, so don't get discouraged. I hope this video was useful. Let me know in the comment if you have any question, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one.